Hello, everybody. I'm Alexei Karabrov, the founder and organizer of Bay Area AI, the longest-running, deepest technical AI meetup in the world. Here we're on location, Cloudflare, with Nikita Ivanov, founder and investor in Humatron AI, of which I'm also an advisor. Tell us, Nikita, what does Humatron do?
Well, Humatron basically develops sort of a new concept of a software-defined workforce. We call it hireable AI. So ability to build workers and, most importantly, hire them pretty much the same way as you hire people in your company.
And I know you for at least 10 years. You presented at Text by the Bay.
Yep.
Right, with Data Lingua.
Yeah.
Right, the previous startup which did query based on precisely decomposing.
Yeah. We call it deterministic NLP, yeah.
That's right. And then you did Apache NLPCraft, right, the open source package business. And what I noticed, you are probably one of the few coding CEOs, right? Like you share the Scala code base for that one, and like every day, commit.
Yep.
And now you're coding for the Humatron. So how do you do that?
Well, it's never me alone. There's always a team.
Yep.
But I always keep my hands sort of a dirty.
Yeah.
So it's just who I am. I'm a playing coach, and so that's how it rolls.
And so then you used Angular for that lingua, I remember.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Most of the couple of startups I'm involved right now, both Humatron and Alpha Prism. Stack is very similar. It's all Next.js on the front end, which is a server-side React, if you will, and it's obviously Python in the back end. So I noticed some people doing TypeScript. That's unique. Most of the backends today are Python for obvious reasons. Most of the LangChain stuff is Python first. So you kind of, we still use Scala somewhere. I know the team is using Scala, but sort of the zeitgeist for the whole backend development is Python right now, for obvious reasons.
So do you use any AI copilots when you code?
Of course, yeah. How can you not? Everybody codes today with 2 or 3 co-pilots and IDEs, but I always keep saying the co-pilots, help a lot to sort of entry-level junior engineers. For the senior engineers, for professionals who've been there they basically give you maybe 5, maybe 10% improvements here and there, but it's not something that dramatically changes anything for you.
So you know software industry inside out, basically, right? You were doing it, and so I think you were a field CTO for DataStax.
Yeah.
Right, so you really see the whole spectrum. So I think I have to ask you, where do you see the software industry is going?
I'm actually one of those who have a pretty contrarian view. I don't think it goes anywhere dramatically different. Just like if you look at what people were doing, 40 years ago, it's dramatically changed. It will change again, but I don't think engineers go anywhere. The job the engineers do, the productivity, they'll get much, much better. But fundamentally, yours and my kids will still be writing code if they want to. And they'll be doing a different level, different abstractions, with a different productivity and efficiency, but we're still going to be writing code.
So humans still will be in charge?
Yeah. Listen, my presentation today, I'll basically make a claim that in 20 years from now, 90% of employees will be still human.
All right. But you want to sell hireable AI, right? The agents, and they have names. What made you kind of give them names, give them personalities, right?
Because you want to basically make sure they gel with the existing team. My contention is that for a very long time in the future, majority of employees will be humans.
Yeah.
And that's therefore it's AI's job to adapt to how we work. How do we work every day? We chat over, Slack, over Zoom, we send email, we send SMS, we have names, we can drop on a video call and whatnot. So the AI has to be able to do the same things. So they can gel nicely, but obviously provide all this AI-driven benefits. And
you also assign them time zones, right? So humans will not have to wake up in the middle of the night.
Exactly, yeah. Those are little things, we take for granted, but when you think about how humans work, it's obviously, there's a lot of those details that go in our interactions that if you don't implement them on the AI side, it's always going to look awkward.
Right. I think this is all smart, and I think the strategy is basically to make this system compatible with HR solutions as they exist.
With people. I mean, the way I'm looking at it is that I want to get to the point where you can hire AI, you can work with AI day to day, and if you don't squint, you don't really know who is this in front of you. You're probably going to see some badge on the icon, something, for probably regulatory reasons.
Right.
But if you don't really squint, you should not be really seeing a difference.
Okay. And you basically, I think, one of the earliest startups which start to think, what is the infrastructure for hireable AI? What does it take, right, to like get this agent? So how do you see this evolving? What needs to change in the existing society? Do you see kind of more interoperation, like APIs for interop? Like, do HR agencies, for instance, have to develop new APIs? Can you integrate the Workday already, or do you need, human side of employment to develop new?
I think the later one. I think there's a still certain level of passive rejection, and I'll be talking about this. That's saying, look, we're not hiring AI, we're hiring people.
Yeah.
It's kind of immoral. And there's a certain truth to that, but I always keep reminding people, like, what happens to horse carriage drivers? What happened to typists from 40, 50 years ago? Was it immoral that this, industries were completely wiped out? No, we just moved on, and there's a lot of automation, and that's pretty much the same way.
Yeah, they got repurposed as locomotive drivers, and
they're still there. But it's not. It's no longer this high-end profession that it was like in about 100 years ago.
So you basically, like, going back to data link with NLP, it's like you develop a whole bunch of skills and experience with NLP, right? So what I noticed at some point, we thought, okay, statistical AI threw it all out the window. Now we found the statistical AI has led to LLMs which lie, and we need some human knowledge and rule-based systems to verify. So for instance, knowledge graphs are back. So do you see kind of, right, like the wealth of experience people acquired in software engineering, right, and system design, what you see in databases, do you think like all of that will still play the role, and where should people who build startups now, right, like what kind of skills do you think they should have, right? What kind of hard software skills?
Again, I still maintain that I'm pretty contrarian in this. I mean, I'm not subscribed to this new zeitgeist that everything's going to change. I think as like almost everybody's saying, we absolutely going to see a one-man unicorn companies. Mm-hmm. That's becoming possible with all the tooling. You can be a one person and really develop a very large business.
Yep.
That's technically becoming possible. Is it going to be often enough? I highly doubt. But like 20 years ago, that was practically impossible in tech. Today, it's becoming technically feasible. Mm-hmm. So we're going to see that. But again, as a founder, technical skills are number one, number two, number three. And then the softer skills obviously come into play later on. But again, a lot of those can be supplemented with whatever the AI agents or something that Humatron is developing or something else. But technical skills still rule the game.
Right.
You have to develop a product. Without product, there's just nothing else.
Here's to that. Here's technical skills. And so, what's next for Humatron? What's the plan for the year?
The team is working. We have team has a pretty large roadmap, and I think it's about 9 to 12 months of development. So there's going to be some fundraising in between, but we'll see what happens.
All right. Thanks for sharing. Looking forward to your talk. Thanks, Nikita.
Thank you.